Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Lynn Wagner. I have to admit, when my loved ones, especially my kids, first heard the word wealthy, they thought it sounded a bit pretentious until we unpacked it together. Health is your greatest wealth, and taking care of yourself is your best investment. That's why I'm so excited to bring you my daughter, Zita, to talk about what this can look like across generations without perfection and lots of fun. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Lynn Wagner, and you are listening to The Wealthy Life. Today I have my most special guest. I can't say my most special guest because I have other children, but my daughter, Zita Luloff. And we want to share today an adventure we are going on with The Wealthy Life. So welcome, Zita. Thank you for coming to the show. Zita's in town for a family wedding this weekend, so we decided to record live in my office, but she normally resides in another state. Talking about The Wealthy Life, I want to ask you the first thing. What is the first thing you thought of when you saw me use the word wealthy in my social posts or in my newsletter?
At first, I was a little bit confused, but then once you really get to know the definition, it makes complete sense. And now I feel like when I see it, it also applies to my own life. So I've just learned to kind of learn from her and then take the wealthy life and do it in my own world. So now every time I see the word, I'm like, oh, that's the ideal life that I want to live.
Makes sense. And then you recently started a social media channel for us for The Wealthy Life. And tell me what your friends thought about it when they saw the word wealthy.
Yeah, so I had told my friends, I was like, oh, did you see the new wealthy account? And they were like, yeah, they thought it was the word was a bit confusing and it seemed a bit...
I think you said the word pretentious?
Pretentious in a way.
Or fancy pants?
Something like that. And I was like, wait, you have to understand the definition because that's not what we're going for at all. We're talking more about how health is wealth, not anything about actual money. It's more like how you live your life, your health, and that makes you wealthy. So if you're healthy, your life will be better.
Yeah, so when I first came up with the word, I felt the same way because it looks so much like wealthy. And the first thing that goes off in your head is dollar signs. And it's like, why would I want to be talking about money? But then the more I thought about it, I thought, we all invest in our 401k, or if we don't, we should be, or we're trying to invest for our future. And really investing in our health is the most important thing, because if you have all the money in the world, but you have a body that is failing, you can't enjoy that money. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I was like, it's actually a great word. So I actually trademarked it.
Yeah.
And now I use it in all of my writing and my social media posts. And I was thrilled when Zita wanted to get involved, and my other two children are also going to be getting involved as well, because I think it's important that we demonstrate that it's not only 50-year-olds, 40 and 50-year-olds that are trying to invest in their wealth. It really is something you should start in younger years, because it'll make it easier when you're older. I wish I would have done it when I was her age.
Yeah.
I definitely did not.
Yeah.
So what do you think the word wealthy means? And I'll fill in too, but when you think about it,
fully means health is wealth, and every aspect of your life you should be focusing on your health. And it's okay to cut corners sometimes because we all like to do that. But I think just constantly having in the back of your mind that I don't know how to explain it. Just always being healthy is one of the most important things. And like you said, being able to enjoy life later on because you're healthy now makes so much sense. So for example, I remember when she started lifting weights, I also wasn't lifting weights, and I was like, oh, they're lifting weights because they want to preserve their muscle for when they're older, and even though I'm young, I'm going to start doing the same thing now so that when I'm older, I can also live my best life.
Yeah, because that took a long time to gain muscle after I had not lifted my entire life.
Yeah.
It was a big adventure. But basically, the definition we have on our website for wealthy is the philosophy that health is your most valuable asset, which I've already said, so it makes sense. But the other thing that I really am kind of toying around with is this phrase, living is one thing, feeling alive is everything, because they kind of tie in together. You have your wealth, you have your health, or you have your health as your wealth. But why do you want that? It's you want to feel alive. You don't want to just be living day by day. You want to be fully immersed in being and enjoying that day and your life and your loved ones and being your most vibrant self. So that's really what it means to me.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
No, that's perfect. And I think this morning we woke up and we went and lifted and we did cold plunge and sauna, and we did that so we could start our day off on a good note, and then therefore we have energy to carry us through the rest of the day. So
because we have a big weekend.
Yep.
But the other thing I think we should talk about is perfection versus balance, because I think that is really important, because I think younger people look at people being healthy and they're like, well, I'm in college, I want to go to frat parties and I want to drink a beer at football games. Not that you're old enough to do that, but when you get older, and then they get kind of turned off to living this rigid, healthy life. What do you think about the whole balance piece? And how have you seen me live a balanced, healthy life?
Yeah, I think balance is perfect. No one can ever be like 100% on their A game. So yeah, especially in college, like my friends would be like, let's go out for ice cream, and I'm not going to say no. And then also last year, eating in the dining hall, it was just physically impossible to eat healthy all the time. So I just kind of have to like find ways to work around it. And like on travel days when I don't find time to work out, like it's not that big of a deal because I'm not going to lose all my progress in one day. And also it's normal to take rest days and cut corners because that's just how it works. So I personally have been working a lot with like finding more rest days, and I find that I get way more tired if I'm working out too much, and like it defeats the whole purpose of working out then because I'm tired. So you have to find like that perfect balance where you're like energized but not like overworking yourself too much.
Yeah, and I would say as a family, we obviously enjoy unhealthy things. We do unhealthy things all the time, but it's what percent of your life are you doing that? I always tell my patients when I'm teaching them how to eat a healthy diet, follow it 80 to 90% of the time. You should have that time where you can just let loose, have fun, do things that are unhealthy, because actually doing those things is part of a very healthy, wealthy lifestyle. You can't be rigid and perfect all the time. I talk about that all the time, and you guys see me demonstrate that all the time. Okay, I'm gonna pause for a second. She can cut this out.
Yeah, am I giving good responses?
Yeah.
I'm like really going off the spot, so.
No. Okay.
I didn't answer your question about how I see you do it though. You asked me that and I forgot.
Oh.
Do you want me to go back and answer that now?
Yeah, so we could also restart if you wanted to have that be like a practice round.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
Unless, do you think it's fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Zita, so I asked you before, how have you seen me living a wealthy life? And I think we got distracted.
Yeah.
You can answer it now.
Okay. Okay. Well, you already basically touched on like the 80-90 rule, which you tell me that all the time too. Like 10% of the time you can eat whatever you want, do whatever you want, and like have fun, and then the other 90% of the time still have fun, but like just be healthier. So like during the week I'm really locked in and I'm eating super healthy all the time, and then the weekends I always give up a little bit because there's just so much fun stuff happening. Like
At college?
Yep, I have to say yes to everything, so I kind of just like let the weekends go most of the time.
And that's working pretty well for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially like travel weekends too, like coming home this weekend, I'm gonna try all the food and like do everything, and if I like end up missing stuff, it's not that big of a deal because it's a fun family weekend, and I'm not gonna restrict myself just because of being healthy all the time.
I want to ask you a question about growing up in my household, because I really got into this healthy lifestyle stuff when you were in grade school, I would say, like young grade school. And I always stress to my patients, like, hey, you're doing this for yourself, but if you have kids at home, you're actually doing it for your kids because they are going to model what you do. They're going to model what you do more than do what you tell them to do.
Yep.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah. No, I always say to my friends, I'm like, I'm so grateful that I grew up with parents that were so like into the whole like fitness, health stuff, because now I absolutely love it, and it's not like hard for me to go work out because I've seen them do it my whole lives, and like now I enjoy it because it's just like a thing I've grown up doing. So I think doing it in your household is amazing, and I also think having parents eat healthy just like showed me that it's normal and it's possible, and it also created like a really good relationship with food because I learned how to still eat healthy. Like you would never restrict yourself from eating in general, and instead of doing that, you just eat healthy. So like eating protein and vegetables and stuff like that versus just not eating at all.
So it was not really dieting. It was just like we love healthy food, and we're embracing it, and we're making fun recipes, and we're having you help us. But I would also say, would you think it's important? We didn't really like force you to do things.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So she used to hate exercising.
Yeah.
She hated hiking. She hated running.
Yeah.
She hated biking.
Yeah.
She hated everything about exercise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we'd be like, okay, you stay home. We're gonna go for a run.
I'd say just like, you kind of have to force it a little bit because I think I was forced to do some things, but in a good way. And also, definitely don't force the healthy eating on your children because that's not very fun either. But like, just like encouraging and making healthy meals was like perfect. I think there was a good balance because we would still be on vacation and I'd be like, I want ice cream, and she'd be like, okay, here you go, have ice cream. Like, it's not like she was like, don't have ice cream, it's bad for you. Like, you never said no to the unhealthy things because like we're kids. That's kind of part of being a kid is like eating unhealthy.
Eating the candy and the ice cream.
Yeah.
So why are we doing this as a family? And I can answer that too if you don't want to. But, I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
And now I have my kids getting older and, expressing interest in doing things together. What are we trying to show the world doing this as a family?
I think it's always inspiring to see a family working together. Like, I follow a bunch of like sisters on Instagram, and I always love it. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It's a family building something together, and I think it also just kind of creates like a good community. And then I have one other point. What was it? Forgot my other point.
That's okay. I was going to say my whole goal with it is just multi-generational, because this isn't just for my age group. This is for your age group. It's for older age groups. It's really all of us at any stage of life can start doing healthy things with our lifestyle to be better people and feel better and be more alive.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was really cool to get the younger generation involved and show what they're doing, because they do different things and I learn from them all the time. They teach me things that I didn't know about. So that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
And the other, go ahead.
My last point, I was gonna say, well, I wanted to get involved in the first place because obviously it's inspiring to see what she has done, and I'm like, my mom is the coolest person in the entire world, and I'm like, I want to do what she does, so my in is doing this.
That's
so,
awesome.
Here I am.
I like that answer. The other thing I think we should talk about is why wouldn't we just do this privately? Because we could just live our life, do our sauna cold plunge, do our workouts, eat our healthy food, and just like enjoy it. What's the point of actually like showing it to the world? I have an answer for it, but I want to hear what you think.
Yeah. Well, I like being inspired by other people. Like, my favorite thing to do is go on Instagram and see all like these people, and I'm like, wow, you guys are so cool, and it always like inspires me versus like it doesn't make me jealous. Like, it just makes me want to be better. So I want to be able to do that for other people and just create like a cool movement.
That I like that you said movement, because I feel the same way. I think it's one thing to do it on your own and then you're just enjoying it yourself, but sharing it with the world and giving tips and giving advice can be inspiring, and it might lead someone to make a meaningful change in their life that will get them closer to that wealthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
And just enjoy life overall. So I want to get back to that word movement. I think that's the key. It's creating a movement, because a lot of us are inspired by others. Mm-hmm. And then when we start doing it together as a movement, it's this ripple effect, and more people do it, more people do it, more people do it. And we could, potentially see, not just from us alone, but from everyone doing this together, a reversal in this like crazy increase in chronic disease and obesity and overall suffering that we're seeing in our country. Yeah. So it's really important that we spread the word, you spread the word, you demonstrate to your kids and your other loved ones and your community how you are changing your life to be a wealthier person, and that's what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to ask, let's finish this off by sharing a moment when each of us felt wealthy. And I know there's lots of examples, but what's the first thing that came to mind?
Can you go first?
Can I go first? Yes. So I would say this morning was an easy example. So we got up at 5:30, did our lifting workout together at the gym at 6, came directly to Wagner Integrative Health and did a sauna and a cold plunge. And it was like, that is the coolest thing ever. I am doing this with my children. So much fun, and I felt fabulous after. So that's my example.
And just so you know, that does not happen every week. That's not normal, waking up at 5:30.
No.
But it was fun, yes.
For you.
I guess the first thing that came to my mind is at school, my roommates and I all are super into fitness, and one of my roommates is especially into like tracking her macros and everything. So we always go to the gym together on Sundays, and we always like wake up, go to the gym, and then we always like eat breakfast together. So just the fact that I have found friends that are as interested in health as me has been super fun, and we all kind of like have created the wealthy movement together at school, which is super fun.
The collegiate wealthy movement.
The collegiate wealthy
movement. That is
movement.
awesome.
Yeah.
Another question I want to ask is, what's a moment in the last year where you felt most alive? And that ties into the living is one thing, feeling alive is everything.
Oh, geez.
You've had a lot.
Yeah.
You've had a lot.
Jeez. I guess I had traveled to Montana over Labor Day weekend, I think, and we were driving up to different weekend. Cut that part. Okay, restart. Okay, so
what's a moment when you felt most alive?
Yeah, okay.
And that ties into the living is one thing, feeling alive is everything.
Yeah. I went to Wyoming and went to the Tetons 2 weeks ago, I think, And we were driving up to our campsite, and I was with 2 of my friends in the car, and we were like kind of hanging out the window, and like the Tetons were in the background, and we were listening to music, and we all were just like so happy because we had been like hiking that day, and then we had stopped and gotten like snacks, and the energy was just so good because we all had just had like, we were like really tired from hiking, but also just like so excited to be there in like such a beautiful place. So like listening to music and like hanging out the car and like having the wind blow in our faces and everyone was just like smiling and laughing was like insane. It's very fun.
That sounds pretty live.
It was pretty awesome.
Mine is not as dramatic, but equally probably inspiring for me. We recently moved, and our office is really close to this office, or my house is really close to this office, so I've been walking to work. And one of the first mornings that I was walking, and I was literally walking down the alley, and I had tears in my eyes, like because I was like, this is amazing. I finally in my life get to walk to work. I don't have to get into my car because I really hate driving. It drives me crazy. And I felt completely alive. I was like, I have a beautiful office and medical practice, and I have this wonderful new home, and I'm walking to work. So little things can be just as amazing.
You don't have to go to the Tetons.
And then lastly, let's just share like 1 or 2 small daily habits that you do that make you feel alive, or I would say represent a wealthy lifestyle.
I always take my vitamins. I always take magnesium before
Which is
bed.
so
It helps
impressive.
me sleep.
Really
Yep.
impressive.
And then I always usually work out at some point. I try to work out in the morning, but I do have rest days. But when I don't have my rest days, I always work out because it helps me focus at school and at work and just get stuff done.
And I would say my favorite daily habits right now are the sauna and cold plunge is like a non-negotiable part of my life, and that makes me feel incredibly alive every time I do it. And I would say my daily workouts for now.
Yep.
And that I added strength training because I didn't do strength training most of my life, and once I added strength training, I loved how my body composition changed. I loved how strong I feel, and I know that when I'm older and she has kids, if she does someday, that I will be able to pop them up in the air and play with them as if I was a 20-year-old. So, anything else you want to say? You don't have to?
Nope.
Okay, so this is our first time on video for
Yep.
something like this, so she did a really good job. We love you and appreciate you for listening, and we hope that you continue to listen and watch us on our social media channels and like us and share us.
Follow the Wealthy Life.
Let's get the movement going. Post your own photos, tag us if you feel like it, and let's make this world a better, wealthier place. Thank you.